So without further ado, it's our privilege to welcome on stage Mr. Prakash Kumar, CEO of Goods and Services Tax Network, to deliver the keynote address at this Indus Conclave. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, friends. The response was not as loud as she got. So the discrimination starts here. Okay. I'll start with two things. One, don't ask me when GST is going to come. Okay? Even I am waiting for that. And the second one is this dress code. It is not in tune with someone. It's so hot outside. I thought, and it's so cold here. I thought, let me go in between without arms, a coat. Okay, with jokes apart, let me talk to you starting from where you are today and what kind of simplicity GST brings. What you see here on the screen, if you represent a company which has offices in all the states and union territories under VAT, and if you are also a manufacturer, then you are registered under the central excise, and if you buy and sell services, then service tax. What you see here that you need to fill up 97 different kinds of forms under VAT and CST, 13 different forms under central excise, and 2 under service tax, accompanied with 317 annexes, 10 challans, etc., etc. It's a huge, huge compliance cost, and you all know how you generate your returns for VAT for various states. That's going to change drastically, and there will be only one form for the whole country. 8 of them are basically, if you are filing monthly, then it's one, or quarterly, there will be another form, there will be an annual form, and then there are certain forms for casual dealers or those who come from abroad for certain periods to do exhibitions, etc. Otherwise, basically one form you file. Of course, since we are merging a central tax as well as state taxes, you have to file this for all the states where you are registered. Please remind me after 15 minutes. I would like to leave some 10 minutes or odd for question answer so that I can finish off in 20 minutes. These are the processes which are facing the taxpayers: registration, return filing, payment of taxes, and all these are going to be online under GST. Of course, today you are filing service tax, excise, and majority of VAT online, but here everything, including registration, goes online. Now, when we start, at current stage, we have estimated the number of live taxpayers, active taxpayers, are 70 lakhs. Who will be filing 260 to 300 crores, it's 2 to 3 billion invoices every month. And every invoice has an average 8 to 10 line items. That I have not shown here. And every line item also has to be included in your return, which means hell of a lot of data which will come here. And then, based on whatever purchases you make, you get your input tax credit, which means all these have to be matched together between a supplier. The seller will now be called supplier, and the buyer will be called receiver, because definition changes a little bit. It is not sales, but it is supply where it is being consumed. So for this kind of large requirement, the government decided they had to go for a strong IT infrastructure. And Mr. Nandan Nilekani was tasked by the government some 4 years back to come up with a structure which will enable this thing to happen. And on his recommendations, Goods and Services Tax Network was set up, which is owned, 49% is owned by the government, 24.5% central government, 24.5% all the state governments, and 51% is with private financial institutions. So we are a private limited company and not a government department or a government company. I thought I'll just make it clear here. Then, and what the idea here was, what Mr. Nilekani decided, that all the taxpayer facing things will be done at one place, rather than all tax departments, central and service tax, all of them will be done on one place. So, irrespective of number of states you are filing, then we will in turn transfer that data to the states for processing by the tax departments. Now, this is how it will look like. What you see on your left-hand side is what general taxpayer like you will be faced with. I have left the presentation is here. They will share it with you, those who want. The core services like registration, return, payments, help desk, and analytics, etc., will be handled by our company. And all the tax functions naturally will remain with the tax officers. So that data will be passed on. Now you are aware, not more than 3 to 5% taxpayers are picked up for audit or assessment, whatever you call that. So for 95 to 97% people, your job ends here once you file your return and pay taxes as per your return. That's important. Now, how these will work is basically through Suitable. We are developing APIs. We are going to give them. I'll talk about what role companies like SAP, Oracle, Tally, etc., can play into this just a little bit from now. Now, as you have understood, there are few things which are front-facing, the taxpayer-facing, few things which are required by the tax officer. When he receives the return, he needs to scrutinize that. He needs to go through that. And if he wants to audit someone, he needs to issue a notice. He needs to invite them along with the books and all. So that we call back-end workflow. And that's the front end which the GST people in the government have given the name called GST Common Portal. So when we started it in October 2014, that's the time we were given the mandate or go ahead to start the work. Lots of states said that they will not be able to put in the back-end infrastructure in time, and hence we are also doing the back-end part for 19 states. For remaining states, in fact, more number of states are here than in the other one. The top model is where they will be doing for themselves, including Central Board of Excise and Customs. So what is new for the taxpayers? And this is where I'll just devote some time. One is your registration is online with fixed time for processing. You apply with all the documents. We will do lots of validation. Any document which is issued by another government department which has online services like PAN, UID, we will not ask you for scanned copies. Just that number will authenticate, and only after authentication it goes further. Number two, your registration is based on PAN of your business entity. So PAN as it is will be used the way they are using it in service tax and excise, and some of the VAT departments are also using. So your GST registration number will be state code, whole of PAN, and then we have 3 more digits for one digit, and there are 2 more digits for internal use we have. So after validation, it just goes to the tax officer to look at some of the documents which we cannot verify online, like your lease document. No state government tax department has that facility to provide it online. But the day it becomes online, we'll do that as well, so that we can do away with requirement of uploading documents. Some photographs and all will be required of the promoters so that we know who they are. And in case they run away, we can go and find them. Their Aadhaar numbers or PAN numbers. But that's only in certain circumstances, not always. Now, another big departure is, except 6 items, 7th I will explain, 6 items, everything else on your registration you can amend whenever you want, which also includes your bank account number, your address age, your telephone number, your registered place of business, godowns, warehouses, all that you can edit anytime. You don't need to go to the tax department. It's a big departure, which doesn't happen today. In fact, today, if you add a godown or a warehouse, you need to go to the tax department to get that approved. That's going to go away. And the timelines are fixed. There are, as per The business document which they have put in the public domain, it's 3 working days. And if between that they raise a query, you get 7 days to provide additional document or information. And then they have 7 days. So maximum it could be 7 plus 7 plus 3. But generally it will be done in 3 days. Payment. Those of you who have worked with Central Excise a little earlier, you would have seen something called ledger. So you pay, it goes into a ledger, and from ledger you put money into for extinguishing various liabilities. That's the system that they are going to introduce here, and there will be 3 kinds of ledgers. One will be your input tax credit. All the purchases you make of goods and services, whatever taxes you pay, that will become your input tax credit. So that will go into your ledger, which you can use for meeting your tax liability on your supplies. Second is your cash ledger. You will have to pay a little more, whatever value additions you do, tax on that. So that you put your cash, meaning by check or by online, into cash ledger. And the liability ledger is, you file your return, your liability goes into that. If you are assessed, that liability goes. So these 3 ledgers will be maintained, and what we are working that you as a taxpayer should be able to see them anytime, or even including all your mobile devices. The way you are able to see your bank account, you should be able to see that how much I have in different ledgers. And also some other things I'll explain later. Today, Chalan is payslip using which you make payment. Generally, it's written manually. Tomorrow, it will be you have to go to the portal to generate, so that there is no question of any wrong entry being made by the bank, which happens today. There are data transcription error or something else. So that's going to be complete. It has to be done on portal. You can pay online, or you can take a printout and go to the bank. And another important part which they have decided, credit card and debit card payment also will be allowed now. And the third one is RTGS NEFT through any bank you can do. Today you can pay your taxes only through 30 agency banks approved by the Reserve Bank of India. Tomorrow you can make payments from any bank. So there are lots of new things which have come here. Returns. Today in Central Excise you don't provide invoice data. But under VAT you provide. In Karnataka, in Gujarat, now Maharashtra. Here it will be all the states and the central government will have to have this. Every taxpayer will have to provide invoice level data. And also line item. Along with the line item, for goods you have to give HSN codes, and for services you have to give service accounting codes. So that's a new requirement where our friends from SAP are going to help you how to do that. That's a big departure, a completely new thing which has to be incorporated. And we are working with your team to enable them to do this in time. Also with Oracle, Tally, and others, not only with SAP. Okay, then as a taxpayer, you upload your supply data, your sales data. Based on, suppose you are the supplier and he's the receiver, if you will use his GSTIN number that I have made supplies to him, automatically your sale to supplies to him will become his purchase data. So it gets auto-drafted, automatically gets populated. So your purchase will automatically get drafted from the supply data of all the suppliers. And hence, we have given them different names. GST1 is all your supply data, GST2 is all your purchase data. However, suppose he forgets to upload one invoice, you have that invoice, you have received the material or the services, you can upload that, add that, which will go back to him to confirm that yes, that's my supply, because he has to then pay tax on that. So those facilities will be there, and we are going to provide offline tools, and we are also working with third-party application developers whom will give all the APIs so that they can write applications to enable people to do all that rather than coming to our portal. Then another new thing which we are trying to do today, most of the cases, I'm not talking about big companies who use SAP, smaller ones, they give their user ID password to their tax consultant. And they use this to file the return or do all the compliances. What we are going to do here is we are going to give them a separate user ID password. And the taxpayer can select who my consultant will be, and then he can do all the activities which are authorized by the taxpayer. So he can, in fact, I'll just show you when he opens his page after logging in, he can see all his customers along with status, whether his file returns or whether there is any notice against one of his customers and things of that sort. So basically, we are trying to regularize what has so far today to tax consultant, your chartered there's some problem. Okay, of course, email, SMS-based acknowledgement, and the third party I'll just talk about. Right from beginning, our endeavor has been to ensure that people need to come to our portal. We are working with other third-party developers, including SAP, Oracle, Tally, etc., who can develop tools in their own application or a separate one so that you can comply with all requirements. And the idea was very simple. If you are using a accounting software, you are generating invoices, you are maintaining your purchase ledger, you are maintaining your supply ledger, then why not giving this additional functionality so that you can upload everything? And this supply data you can file on daily basis. Every day's invoice you can upload. You don't need to wait for next month, 10th, to upload that. So all that we thought they are the best position because they are working with you. Then there are other guys also for pop store or very small stores who don't use any application today. They are completely manual, but they have to come tomorrow on this. How do we enable them? So we are working with some of the very startups or new age companies who can come up with solutions which are basically cloud-based and phone or tablet-based. In fact, I saw one presentation already, one product which does that. Complete, in fact, all his sourcing and then all his sales. Generally, it is B2C sales. They don't need to give invoice level data for B2C. Invoice level data is only for B2B. So it just gives consolidated. In fact, it generates return also. And it is just phone based. So that kind of innovation, so we need those companies as well. And we have given them a name called GST Suvidha Providers, so that we intend to have 10 to 12 companies like that who will create this, provide services, and an alternate mechanism for filing and completing all compliances. So if you see here, the taxpayer can use offline utility, he can use even mobile devices, desktop, he can come to our portal, he can go to GST portal. The idea is we should provide multiple ways he can comply. And then, including our portal as well as GSP's portal, they will talk to our core system only through API. So it's not exposed to outside world. And then, similarly, all our states, then Central Board of Excise and Customs, then RBI, banks, etc. Again, they are integrated like that. So you will ask me, what will happen to me? I'm already registered. Do I need to register again? No, you don't need. Till your PAN is validated. We started this exercise. Excise and custom, there was not a big problem. But VAT, we found the PAN provided was of an employee, of a partner, or some vague arbitrary number. It has taken us more than a year and a half to clean that, and now we have, for those 7 million taxpayers, clean data, and we can simply issue them GST tomorrow if government tells us. So that they don't need to reapply. However, some of the documents especially those of the promoters and their principal place of business, so that we start afresh with latest data, because many of them will be registered for last 20, 25 years, and those documents will be there somewhere in some brown file in some corner. So that's one. And the other one is the new guys can directly come to the portal or through offline utility or through GSP and get registered here. Taxpayer dashboard we are providing, where you can save your applications, your tracker status, track notices, due dates. Then you can maintain records of filings. You can share your login credentials with your tax professional and what all he has done. You can authorize your professional, you can remove him, you can engage, you can disengage. All these are here itself. Then you can also, if you want to download something, your previous data, you can do that. And we are also toying with an idea that small guys, they find it very difficult to get loans from the banks. We have all their data. So like CRISIL does for medium-sized and large companies, we can also do that kind of thing to provide so that they can get loans from banks and other financial institutions. Professional dashboard, as I mentioned to you, there they will be able to see all their customers' data. They can accept invitation to or request to get engaged. They can reject. They can disengage. They can track. In fact, from their dashboard itself, they can directly get into taxpayers part of the portal and do all the required things which are authorized by his taxpayer. This is a little bit more on how we have tried to isolate the main core GST system. And again, you will see here our portal, mobile applications, as well as the ecosystem provided, the GSP provided applications. And then we have all these entities with whom we interact for validating your registration or some other data, and then providing data to tax departments, accountant general, as well as the Central Board of Excise and Customs. This will be again something high on your attention, because your valuable data, and especially when you are providing invoice level data, you won't like your competitor to know exactly who all your resellers are and at what rate you are selling them. That's very important, because you may be selling to your retailer at different prices. Cost of goods sold for all your resellers may be different. So that we need to do, and here we have, even for tax authorities, it's completely role-based. If you are a tax officer for 2,000 taxpayers, you can access only that, you cannot see anything else. As simple as that. Only in case of investigation, they need to take a permission, and all that will be logged, who had seen, and only limited information will be provided. Because we are cognizant of this fact. Because if that information goes in the wrong hand, it can be misused. And of course, all these, the best of breed technology, etc. What we have also done to ensure that the insider, my own people, my DBAs, don't create havoc. We are sharding the data and keeping it under different DBAs. And of course, our objective or other aim is to have these certifications in first 18 months, the last one. For doing this work, what we did, we selected Infosys. They are developing our application. We have already completed SRS. Prototyping has been done. In fact, the code writing had just started. The release will start from next month, and we'll be ready in time. I don't know when the GST will come. So this is what they are doing. They are also providing, they're responsible for providing the infrastructure, data centers, connectivity, and they will also run and operate it for 5 years with extension of 2 more years. Now, what we are doing for the taxpayers is basically we have been having consultation with various stakeholders even during the design part. We had meetings, we showed the prototypes to tax officers, we showed it to chartered accountants and tax advocates, one-day workshop, taking them through everything, that how do they look at it. And generally, I invite youngsters who are full with energy and they can give us new ideas. Then the Infosys CEO, who was earlier with SAP, he has started this design thinking in Infosys, which we are also implementing here. And that's also this consultation with all the stakeholders is part of that, so that the UI is the best suited for the ultimate stakeholder. We plan to involve 5,000 odd volunteers for beta testing. Now, how do we get in touch with those, or how do we identify? We have decided to go through industry bodies, because that's easier to manage CII, SOCM, and also state level bodies. So those who would like to work with us, of course, it will be your free contribution. You can do that by when the time comes, and we'll be going through various bodies for that. We are also going to have short animation films on various processes, our portal as well as YouTube channel. For every process, how do you do that? Then, of course, training of CBC state master trainers. Few rounds of trainings have already been completed, and more of them will come once the Rajya Sabha passes that. And as I mentioned, that multiple options for filing of returns, etc. And lastly, I would love to have your thoughts, what else you would like to have. So that's my email ID. Please feel free, send me a message that you would like to have this. See, you are a select group of customers who you work with, who are part of large companies. So what else you are looking at? Whatever little I have shared, what new you would like to have, or what something else we should need to do, please send me a feedback. And I can assure you, we'll get in touch with you, we'll work with you, how much of that we can incorporate into our design. So thank you once again, Mr. Sen Gupta, Mr. Vijay Sethi, and the whole Indus team for giving me this opportunity to be here and share whatever we are doing. If organizers permit, I can take a few questions, 2-3 questions. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, 25 minutes, I couldn't have covered everything.
That's fine.
Yeah, I got your question. So what the applications which will be developed by any Suvidha provider will have to be cleared by one of the agencies of STQC, not by STQC. STQC is very busy, but they have empaneled agencies. So we would like to do that. Second is sharing of data. When a taxpayer decides to go with someone, he has to have that confidence. Today, they give you, put your entire data into P. If tomorrow, they're getting on cloud, so all your information will be there. So that we don't come in between.
No,
Suppose SAP tomorrow becomes, then they file it.
No, I understand that point very well. My only question is, just to tell you, even today, there are some very key informations in terms of imports that people do is available in public domain actually. It's a very innocent search. If you go to Google, you'll find a lot of information. And I know the information leaks probably happens through this type of service providers, okay? And it is because nobody is paying attention in terms of reviewing before you authorizing it actually. We understand the accountability at the end of the day lies with the customer who engaged them. But it was, the question was asked from a point of view that is there anybody competent authorities looking at before you say yes, you can trust this party.
Yes, that is
that
what
was
I
only
said.
my point.
That is what I said. It will be. And I can just give you an example. When Right to Information Act came here, departments were asked to put all the information in public domain. And out of ignorance or out of zeal, some of the departments, like public distribution services, PDS department, they put bloody whole database on the public domain. Now in Mumbai, people knew exactly where Mr. Dharmender lives, how many family members he has, everything was there. Now that should not be done. Of course, later on they removed it. But even today, your election data is in public domain. I can go and see who all are the voters of a particular with your name, age, sex, etc. Now we don't have that law which guards this or which provides. Hopefully we'll have that soon. So it comes from various other places. Also, many of us, out of ignorance, put lots of data on our social media. And they are pulling everything. Whatever you put on your Facebook, I'm sure you know that, it is picked up not only by Facebook, but also by all the search engines and other apps where you just tick and they say, okay, you are sharing everything with him, with that app. So let's not only talk about these applications, but also one has to be very, I'm paranoid about that. I don't use majority of the apps. I don't want to name the OS to track where I am, whom I am meeting. Anyway, that's get into that debate little.
So
Anyone?
Maybe one last question. Anyone
Yeah.
you have? If you could just stand up, then I can see. No? Okay.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.